What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. It's that time of the week again. So every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you are going to see me, and every other week, you're going to see these two gentlemen below me as well. So David from DBM Racing, Brandon from Brandon's Garage, and they are here to just basically lend their expertise with car stuff, Corvette stuff specifically. And together we come and we create Corvette Weekly every Monday night. So, as usual, welcome back. I see a bunch of the names that are usually in the chat over here. Welcome back, guys. I appreciate the continued support. You guys are awesome. But what we're going to do right now is the same thing we start out these Corvette Weeklies with every Monday night, and that is going to be talking about our sponsor, which is NCM Insurance. So NCM Insurance is obviously National Corvette Museum, but they like to do the NCM part because they don't just protect Corvettes. You can actually have them protect any kind of special cars you have, the cars that aren't your daily drivers, basically. And they will typically save you up to 50% on your car insurance bill. If you were interested in doing this, you would just go to NCM Insurance. And on step number 5, you're going to make sure when it asks you, how'd you hear about us, put in there HPO, horsepower obsessed, and you're going to get the best possible rate. Now, normally when we talk about this, I hear a bunch of people in the comment section talking about how much money they saved, and that's fantastic. But we actually have one of our own, maybe two of our own. I can't remember if Brandon has it as well. At least
I
I
do.
know I know David does. Okay, Brandon does as well, and they both saved a ton of money by switching to the NCM insurance. So this isn't something that I just talk about that none of us actually use. Brandon and David both have it, and I will have it myself soon. So, wasn't it about 50% for you too, David?
Oh yeah. Actually, on some of my vehicles, it was way more. This one right here is $600 a year.
Yeah.
So, some of the things are really, really, really cheap. And it, like you said, it doesn't have to be Corvettes. I have a '72 C10, the
Right.
Challenger.
Right.
I've got plenty of stuff like yeah. So they'll insure anything. And the best thing is they do the agreed upon value. Like I mean, it's awesome.
What
And I
about
was
you,
with
Brandon?
them
You
way before that.
do you have your
Yeah,
all of your cars done through them as well?
no, I only have my Corvette. I need to switch them all. Honestly, I've been lazy. I need to switch. Like, I've got like my other Corvette. I need to put it on there because I know I'll save on it. But basically, it dropped mine probably about 40% from what I was going to be paying through USAA. And so that was kind of like that to me alone. Plus, I did a stated value, which I'm pretty sure would have been higher than what they would have probably valued it at through
Exactly.
USAA. So I think I picked like 125 or something as my value.
And they're so awesome to deal with. Like anytime you call, they're right there. And then Kevin Rand just put in the comments that he had a claim on
Yep.
something for glass. Was super easy, no issues, able to get
Yep.
his dash fixed at the same time. Like awesome.
So there you have it, guys. It's not just me talking about it. It's not even just some random people saying, "Hey, go check this out." This is literally the comment section. Kevin Haran, Michael McCurry just said he saved 50%. A lot of there's literally actually BPR Z06 as well. No. He's talking about 10. But ultimately, guys, what it comes down to is this is a fantastic insurance company. It's going to save you some money, a lot of money actually, and you get to do the agreed upon value. So if you think your car's worth $150,000, that's what you would get if you were to ever total the car, or if it was ever a complete loss. You would get 150, even if it's only worth 20. So definitely check them out. Link in the description down below. Make sure you put in there horsepower obsessed in step number 5, and you'll save the most amount of money possible. Anyway, guys, let's move on. We have a lot of news to talk about tonight, and we have one really, really interesting piece of uh, content, I guess, from these two down below me here again. They're going to talk a little bit about something they have special coming up after we talk a little bit about the C8 Corvette Z06. Now, I know a lot of you guys in the comment section, a lot of you guys in the chat here, told me, or I actually own Z06s. So I own a Z06. Obviously, David does, Brandon does. I know BPR Z06 does. And actually, I wanted to check out his comment real quick. Yeah, so he had his Z06. The inside of the windshield tinted was 70%, and the side windows are at 50%. That's awesome. That should look pretty good. The pit crew is back, says John Perkins. What's up,
Yes.
John?
Hey
BPR
John.
Z06, Bill Miller. I like to try to address everybody that comes in here because we're a pretty tight knit group here. I would say I've met 90% of you at this point, so I feel like I know most of you anyway. Um, yeah, actually, it would take me a minute to scroll through here and find somebody I haven't met personally yet. I guess I haven't met Darren yet, but um, yeah, a lot of you guys I've met. Lewis. I haven't met Chopper. I haven't met Tyler officially, but Eric Bush, AARPM, Aaron, I've met him.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're going to be talking a lot about the Z06 tonight. Matt Hurley's in the house. I actually didn't see his name pop up.
He's here.
Shane, have you seen Shane yet? I haven't seen him on here.
Nah, he's not on here. Shane is a working machine. That man works literally like usually between 18 and 20 hours a day. I'm not even joking. Like,
Holy cow.
yeah. So when he's
sounds
on
great.
here, it's like he's usually either in between jobs or he's on lunch or something. So every now and then you won't see him on here, but it's nothing serious. It's just he works a lot. So,
You might give David a run for his money on the total hours of working in a week.
Yeah.
He might. He might.
David, what
This
are
month
your
is
total
real
hours?
bad.
What are your total hours in 1 week working?
Last week was 100 and something.
Oh my
Is that it? Jeez, man. Come on, you guys.
I know, I gotta work harder, right?
Paul Yunker says, Justin, do you have an NCM discount code? I don't actually. So just in step number 5, just make sure you put in there. It's going to ask you, where'd you hear about us? Just put HPO or horsepower obsessed, and that's going to give you the best possible price anyway. So that's kind of the discount code, I guess. Yeah, John Perkins, and he's not joking. Shane has 14 jobs.
Oh my God. What?
Jeremy 2020 Matrix 8's in here.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
K Long says, I just switched from NCM or to MCM from Geico for my 2024 Z06 and my Porsche GT4 RS. That's awesome. And a Porsche 718 Spider, and saved over 50% on my annual premium. I did not think it was possible, but provided better coverage. First off, what an absolute incredible lineup of cars there.
Yeah, your garage is insane.
And that's got to be an insane garage for sure. But that's awesome that they're saving you that much money too.
Yep.
What's your social?
Like you said, like, you don't have to worry about the coverage ever. Like when I was out of town for work last week, a tree fell right about there on the outside of my house for a storm, and I was worried about the house. I wasn't worried about anything in it because I knew it was all covered by NCM. That they would, because somebody mentioned in the comments that most of their claims are garage fires or garage damage.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yep.
All right, guys, while we're at it, if we could smash the thumbs up button. We like to have 100 of these by 8 o'clock. We got a bunch of Z06 stuff to talk about. And then Brandon and David are going to talk about something really cool. If you own a Z06, you're definitely going to want to hear what they have to say. That will come after we talk about 2 pieces of news with the Z06.
Yep.
Bill Miller says, hey, Justin, where's your buddy Dana? I've not seen him lately. I was just at a car show with him. Yeah, was it yesterday?
Yeah, Dana's in Indianapolis, isn't he, for 2 weeks?
He's working, but I was at a car show with him just yesterday. So,
Nice.
don't worry, Bill. He'll be around to steal your sour cream, or vice versa, whichever one started that. Matt Hurley, he says, I need to call NCM. Yeah, Matt, you really should. I mean, when you talk about a guy that has an amazing collection of cars, Matt Hurley's the guy. Like, not only does he have cool cars, but he has them set up in such an awesome way. Like, every one of them has a perfect stance. They're perfectly lowered, and the wheels are always perfectly offset. Like, and those 2 things alone will literally make or break a car. So it's fantastic.
Yes. That's literally the first thing Brandon and I talk about cars is stance, offset.
Wheels and tires, yep.
Wheels and tires. That's right.
Cars and Airplanes says, Justin, have you met Justin from Paragon yet? I have not. I've talked a lot to him, but I feel like it's one of those like black hole things. If you get 2 Justins in the same room, like, something weird's going to happen. So, but no, seriously, I saw your comment earlier about coming up to Cars and Coffee or something. I would love to do that. I think that would be an absolute fantastic idea. It will happen eventually.
And I've talked to Corey about that too. We should coordinate that, and it should be a horsepower.
All 3 of us,
pick.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, that would be fantastic.
Insane. Yeah, we need to coordinate.
Yeah. John Perkins was there for that event. I forgot. He says up at the top, he says he's out getting sour cream, Bill. Oh man. I don't think you guys were there. Were you, Brandon, David?
Oh no, we were, I think, up the
restaurant. Yeah, that's right. You went to the other taco place.
GPS malfunction.
Good Lord. What an event though. I mean, it was at first I thought, okay, this is like joke. And then I realized both of them were pretty serious about it. And then I started to think about the fact that they're getting upset over a little thing of sour cream. Like, oh, it was too much. But yeah. I was gonna say you definitely had to be there for it. It was something else.
Awesome.
Anyway, let's get into a little bit of the news, guys. I want to give these two ample time to talk about their special Z06 thing. But again, guys, please smash the thumbs up. Let's get to 100 in the next 14 minutes, and then 200 by 8:30 would be fantastic. A lot of you guys, like I was saying in the comments or in the chat over here, a lot of you guys do own Z06s. I saw General Lee was in here a second ago as well. I know General Lee has a Z06. Hope you're feeling better, General Lee. BPR Z06 obviously has a Z06. Everybody on the screen here has a Z06. 2020 Matrix 8 has a Z06. Matt Hurley had two Z06s. So basically, a lot of us have Z06s. And a couple little bits of news and a couple little bits of winning for them came out recently that I wanted to talk about, because the most recent one comes to us from our YouTube brethren, Throttle House, and they actually tested the new C8 Z06 against the Lotus Emira, and the Lotus by itself is a cool car. I was sitting here watching the video, and they were drag racing these two to compare the speed, and my wife was sitting beside me, and she's like, "Man, is that Lotus really that slow?" And I said, "No, the Z06 is just that fast. Like, the Lotus is not a slow car, but the Z06 literally made it look like it was standing still. It just was like, it was gone." So that was cool by itself. That's a giant win for the Z06, because they were doing this because the C8 Z06 was 2022's car of the year, and then the Lotus was 2023's car of the year. So they were kind of testing them against each other to see the differences. What really ended up being the cool part was when we scroll down here through a little bit. Number one, you should go watch the video, but the big, really interesting part here is what the Z06 did after it beat the Emira, because it went on to put up a time, and this is it right here. It literally beat the new GT3 RS. And this, awesome. I can't even begin to describe how big of a deal this is, especially when you look through the list of cars that are on, when you look at all the cars that are on this list. A Viper ACR. Number 6 now is a C7 Corvette ZR1. An AMG GT63. The new M5 competition. Camaro ZL1 1LE. I mean, these are not any kind of cars that are to be scoffed at, especially the GT3 RS, and the Z06 took it. So the C8 Z06, guys, for those of you who have ever doubted it, the C8 Z06 is an absolute monstrous car. And I know last week we had Alex on here talking about the twin turbo kit for the Z06. As much as I love the idea of throwing extra power at this car, this is just proof it doesn't need it. I mean, the car is demolishing. Well, I don't want to say demolishing because it barely beat the GT3 RS, but the fact that it beat it at a fraction of the price. I mean, you could get a Z06 for 120 grand. The GT3 RSs, you can't touch them for under 400 with markups. So it's like you're getting a car for a fraction of the price that literally beats cars that are quadruple the price. It's unreal. Like, do not.
That's right in line with, remember, even this year, the Lightning Lap, it dropped one place to 6th fastest all time on the Lightning Lap. So initially it was fifth fastest NA car ever. And then this year it dropped to 6th, or 2023, it dropped to the 6th place. So still, the only thing that's faster, there's like a McLaren Senna, the new McLaren 760. I mean, so it's unbelievable how fast these cars are.
The only cars that I can think of off the top of my head that are going to be faster are going to be, typically, for some reason, they're McLarens. McLaren has found a way to make cars super duper lightweight, and that's the biggest thing. Like, it's not that they're throwing more horsepower or they have better aerodynamics. It's specifically they weigh 500 to 800 pounds less than the Corvette consistently. And
aren't they all like carbon fiber, like
carbon fiber tubs, everything's carbon fiber. And the problem, of course, with that is price. Now you're making the tubs out of carbon fiber and everything. Now the price of the car goes way up, but it is significantly lighter weight. With that said, in my experience, you have some of the strangest problems with a McLaren. And typically the biggest one that I see almost all the time is just like random fires in the engine. Like the 720S especially had it was notorious for catching fire for some reason. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to pretend that I do, but odds are good it had something to do with oil leaks. And between that and like windows not working, windshields cracking, and just weird stuff like that, it's because of the lightweightness. Like they just like with the C6 Z06, they make those windows so thin to save every ounce they possibly can, and they crack because of how stiff the chassis is when you're going over like a, you know, an uneven pavement or something. So again, this is a gigantic win for the C8 Z06 because of where it places on this list. And I see Robert Braun saying that the C7 ZR1 is faster. That is true to some degree. Based on their testing, it's not. And now, I mean, when we look at these numbers, we're not talking about a huge difference. So between the C8 Z06 and the C7 ZR1, it's about roughly 2 seconds, which it doesn't sound like a giant thing, but whenever you're talking about any kind of track use, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge. Every second is huge. But that is impressive because the C7 ZR1 is not exactly a joke car either. So to have both of those be beaten by the Z06, if you have a Z06, guys, I'm telling you, you have one amazing machine.
Yep. Yeah.
Justin.
And even in the lightning lap, they beat the ZR1, the 19 ZR1 it wasn't much slower, but it was slower around Virginia International Raceway. That tells you a lot right there.
And the Virginia International Raceway is such a small track that the ZR1 and the C8 both, they don't get to stretch their legs. So you're talking about that track is going to show you where the cars that handle the best really shine because they don't have a long enough straightaway to stretch their legs.
Well, and that Misha guy, his lap on the Nürburgring on YouTube was absolutely insane.
And that's what I'm saying. Like every time we come on here, every Monday night, there's a new win for the Z06. Right. And it's like the car now is, you know, one model year old. It's 2 years old at this point that we've seen it. But it's like this thing, somehow it's still winning. And it's like it shouldn't be at this point because it's older to the point where, you know, bigger and faster things should be coming, but the Z06 is still just killing it. Brandon, what did you want to say?
Oh, I was going to say, just ask you, since you have a unique perspective having both cars, you drive them on the street, which to you, like if you're driving both cars on the street, feels like it handles better? Does it feel like the C701 handles better than the C8 Z06, or can you tell the difference being in the C8 Z06 that it's by far, like it's a better car from a handling perspective on the street?
I think the Z06 is a better handling car.
Okay.
With that said, I also think the Z06 is a rougher riding car. I think the C7 ZR1 handles slightly worse, but rides much better. Even though a lot of people would say the opposite. And I think the C8 Z06, I mean, I love everything about this car, don't get me wrong, but it is pretty rough on the road, especially if, you know, if you're in Pennsylvania, the roads here aren't great. The ZR1, I mean, like I said, I'm never going to sell the C7 ZR1. The car is freaking awesome. But I think the C8 Z06, especially with the Venturi intake and the high flow cats, I think the C8 Z06 is the faster of the two now.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know.
That's a statement.
I told you after we installed the high flow cats at I say we, I meant by that I mean you guys. At the bash. I got home and the car sat in the garage for a couple days. And then I took it out and went down my road and I was just like driving. I thought I was on the throttle pretty good. And then all of a sudden I realized I wasn't pushing it 100%. And when I did, I legitimately got scared for a second. I was like, holy crap, this thing is way faster. Like those cats on that car added, you know, it freed up the flowing, whatever it did. I felt the difference. And usually you don't. Right. When you have 670 horsepower, you don't really feel it. But I felt it.
I've seen some dynographs of some of these high flow cats, and they're showing in the mid range sometimes 30 or 40 foot-pounds of torque difference. So that makes sense that you're seeing.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And also I wanted to ask you too, Justin, how come you and Amber haven't lined up yet? Like you driving the C701, Amber and the Z06, line it up on the street, see which one's faster. Let's answer this question finally.
Let me just tell you why we have not done that yet.
Okay.
Justin is very possessive of his car.
So,
I'm not gonna lie.
So here's
one time.
Here's the real truth here.
I'm afraid of it because I'm gonna do something wrong.
Here's the real truth.
You can't mess the Z06 up.
No, she could. The biggest thing to remember here is that I actually did this race already with street speed.
Yeah, you did.
And I won in the ZR1 by roughly a bumper. Now, his car had a Fab Speed exhaust and Fab Speed cats, but that was it. So I'm a pretty firm believer in the fact that if you have the high flow cats and the Eventuri, it frees up the breathing of that car so much. It's faster. I guarantee you it's faster now. I guarantee you it's faster than the ZR1. Now, my ZR1 is also a manual, so it really, if you watch the race that I did with Street Speed, you can hear I'm banging gears about as hard as you possibly can. But if that car was an automatic, it might have fared a little bit better.
I wouldn't be opposed to trying it out though.
Right.
Yeah, shoot. Now you got an idea in her head, Brandon. Thanks.
I just want to see your cars though. You know, I did see the Street Speed video, but like I want to see your cars go black on black. Like just visually, it'd just be cool. I think it'd be.
Hey,
cool
if I can ever get mine up to Pennsylvania, we'll do black on black. We'll
there you go. There you go. I'd feel better with that because if something were to happen, it's just it wouldn't be great for our marriage. No. If something were to happen where she wrecked the car or something, yeah, like I don't want that for her. So it's just better. She's not been in a lot of drag races where she has experience. It's just better to not do.
I had this talk the other night. We got a new deck put on our house, and we were sitting in the garage looking at it, and I said, I really miss when I used to get to drive the Stingray.
Yeah.
We go to car shows together. She said, oh, we're not going to do those ever again.
Well, she asked me why I let her drive the C8 Stingray, but I'm not really letting her drive the Z06. And I told her, I said, the C8 Stingray was never the car I was going to keep. And I knew that. Like, that car was just like, let's bang out some content with it. Ultimately, I want to get rid of it. I want the Z06. And now that I have the Z06, I literally have fallen in love with this car to the point where it's like, I don't want anybody looking at it. Like, it's mine.
It's amazing. Well, Brandon had a friend was racing. He was driving your Viper and you were driving your Corvette, right?
Yeah.
And the guy literally
Gen 4
totaled
Viper.
his
He
Viper.
crashed it. I only had it for 3 months, and my buddy, I tried to race both cars, and it was a cold night for like 50 degrees outside on the roads, and he wanted to go from like a 30 roll. I knew it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway. And that's a first gear pull on the Gen 4 Viper, and he just lost control and went straight into the woods and totaled the car. And so I lost that car like 3 months after having it.
See, that's honestly, I'm afraid of something like that.
Exactly.
It's not even necessarily his fault specifically, but just if something weird happens, and then I mean the C8 Z06s aren't exactly a dime a dozen. It's hard to come by. So I don't want to be that guy that's also out of car and now I gotta wait for another one, and it's just not a good idea.
But I mean, it could be anything, and the C7 ZR1 isn't replaceable.
Right.
So I mean, I'm not a bad driver, but when I was behind the Stingray, you know, I fishtailed a little bit. I had fun with it, and he's afraid I'd
there it is. There it is.
The Z06. I know that.
She'd have fun with it. She'd be going down the road sideways. Jeremy says, I'm with you on this topic, Justin. No one drives the Z06 ever. And I mean, like, you got to have something. You know what I mean? Something that's yours.
Payment on it, so
don't touch my drumsticks. That's exactly it.
That's right, Michael McCurry.
Yeah.
Don't touch my drum set.
Were you messing with my drum set? No.
Yep.
Why are you so sweaty then? I was watching Cops.
I love it.
So yeah, we're getting thunder here.
2.5 weeks.
Oh yeah, it's been storming here. No, Brandon and I know what to do with your car when we're staying at your house. Then now, Justin.
What?
What's it? What's that? Sorry, David.
Stepbrother quotes.
Yeah. I'll come down. I'll be like, "Did you move my car?" And you'll be like, "No."
Did you touch my car?
Yeah. I'm like, "Why are you so sweaty then?" All right. So one more thing real quick, guys, I want to talk about on the Z06 end, other than the fact that it's a beast and it beats a GT3 RS, is did you take out that headphone? No. One other thing is this is actually this is not the one I want to talk about. This is. And this is again over at the Mid-Engine Corvette forum, and it was a really well done video by the Smoking Tire. If you guys haven't seen it before, a lot of people actually told me back in the day when I first started my channel that I reminded them of Matt Farah. And I remember whenever they said that, I was like, thank you. That's such a freaking compliment. Like that guy was like my idol at the time. But he went on to take a drive in the C8 Z06 non-Z07 packaged car and was talking about how much he liked it over the Z07. So ultimately what that means for you guys is that the Z06 is an absolute awesome car, whether you get the Z07 or the Z06. Right. And Matt Farah was like I said, you're going to want to watch the video, but ultimately he says that the Z06 is an awesome car. The regular Z06 is perfection for us, says John, who is the forum owner over there. He has a Z06 that looks just like a Z07, just like I do. He has all the Z07 stuff on it, but it's not the Z07 suspension. He says here, you can see the subtitles here, says skip the Z07 package on the C8 Z06. The quote unquote touring 3LZ trim is where it's at. So again, a lot of people here talking about the same thing. They don't really get the obsession with the Z07, all this stuff. But ultimately, this comes down to the fact that the Z06 is great in any form. I personally, if I could have got it, I would have gotten the Z07 just because I've talked about this before, but I kind of like the feeling of getting beat up on the road whenever you're driving and the suspension is super stiff. But yeah.
Same here. Yeah, I would have opted for it too. It was just on constraint. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I like that feel as well.
I saw on, at least it was on Facebook, but basically they dynoed two identical cars. One had Z07, same color, same trim package, same everything. It was identical car except for Z07, non-Z07. They dynoed both of them, same mods, and there was like a 6 wheel horsepower difference. I guess I'm assuming from just 4 to 6, depending on the pool. I'm assuming from the carbon ceramic like rotational mass.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Hey, I was gonna ask you, Justin. Does the Lyric do 2-way power? I wonder. You know, like you can power. There's some of the new EVs will can power your house and stuff. I wonder if the Lyric has that capability or not.
It does not, from what I understand.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Everybody in the comments is telling me to get on my side.
Get on here.
I love it. I know it's weird for us. It happened like before we went live. Put it back the way it's been.
David, is that a Challenger on the other side of your Corvette?
Yeah.
It is.
I wasn't sure.
Not just any Challenger.
Or like a Camaro.
No, it's a Ghoul. Actually, I made it. It's a 426 stroker with all aluminum, Gen 5 Whipple, E85 4 fuel system. It's like it made 1,387 or 1,378 at the tire.
Nice.
It's a monster. I haven't ridden it yet, but that's on the to-do list at some point. And it's a manual transmission, which is even cooler.
Yeah, it's a manual. Yeah, it's got built trans. It's got everything. Yeah,
that's what makes it. All right, guys, we are back fully. As long as that lightning out there doesn't mess us up again. Like we were talking about before, the thunder and the lightning so rudely interrupted. Yeah, so the C8 Z06 is an awesome car, whether you get the Z07 or just the Z06. I have a Z06. Actually, all three of us have a Z06. None of us got the Z07, but at least two of us on the screen here made our cars kind of look like a Z07 with the dive planes and stuff up front. So, apologies for the disconnect there, guys. But if we could, please smash the thumbs up. Looks like we're at 110. We need a little bit more, guys. A little bit more to get to our ideal 200 by 8:30. So we got 22 more minutes. And yeah, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of hand this over to Brandon and David. They have something pretty cool to talk to you guys about. So hopefully the weather will hold out. You guys got the floor.
All right. You have the pictures, Justin?
Yeah, I do. Let me grab them real quick. Actually, I did not download
Beautiful.
them.
Go. All right, Brandon.
All right. So basically, David and I kind of like felt like there was kind of a lapse in the market right now with the C8 Z06 as far as on the intakes only being offered currently with that edge red color from the factory, because a lot of people have different color cars that doesn't really kind of seem to jive. Edge red doesn't work with like every car, every caliper color, etc. So we kind of had the idea that we're going to take and see what we can do about getting these intakes, getting them off, getting them custom painted, custom colors, and then not only that, taking the throttle bodies, which are the middle two throttle bodies. It's got a dual rear and then a single front, and then the two front throttle bodies, painting those as well, and seeing kind of like just to give more engine aesthetics and kind of make the car just kind of more reflect kind of what it is and give people more options basically. So we started painting these intakes, and so we decided to kind of like offer that as a painting service, basically these custom painted full complete intakes that's with throttle bodies, middle throttle bodies, ready to just bolt off, bolt on, and whatever color you would like. Currently right now we're doing middle throttle bodies and front throttle bodies as gloss black, and then whatever custom color you would like on the plenums. The plenums themselves, as long as there is a GM paint code, touch-up code, we can use that and paint any color that's offered currently now by GM. Some of the caliper colors are a little bit more difficult to get the paint codes on because they're offered through Brembo, but for the most part, if you are wanting your intake to be painted the same color as your car, or even something a little different, if you got a RAF, whatever it may be, we decided we're going to try to do something to kind of hit that part of the market. So we started painting these, and I'll turn it over to David. There's some pictures here. This is my car. I ended up going with the same color as my calipers just because I think the yellow looks great.
Yeah.
And so I ended up putting that on there. And the intake install, what's even cooler is like, it sounds a little daunting, but the actual intake install is easier than doing cats. So if you've done cats in your car, this is a lot easier
Way
job,
easier.
probably about half as hard as doing cats. So if you can
Way
do
easier.
an Venturi intake install in your car, you can do a actual plenum runner intake swap. And all you have to do literally is unbolt. I think there's 8 or 10 bolts total on the sides. Disconnect your connectors, pull the little side strut supports. It comes off as a whole unit. You set the whole one on, hook your connectors up, and you're done. It's easy install. We're going to be having videos that's going to show how to do that. Dave and I have both done that on our cars. It's not bad. You can do it in an afternoon. So if you're wanting something custom for your car that kind of gives a little extra bling, especially in the light, you can do all kinds of things, LED lighting at night. If that's what you're wanting, then we kind of got the solution to that. And we've talked with Justin and at Carlisle, we're actually going to do something a little similar to what we've done before, where we're going to swap him a torch red intake on his car to kind of better match what he's got on the rest of the car with black painted throttle bodies, gloss black. Right. And so just to show that it can be done, it's easy, it's not a hard deal. So if anybody's interested in that, Dave is going to kind of go over like how to go about getting that done for their vehicle.
Yeah, and then again, you can kind of see here this last picture that Justin, the last two that Brandon had done with a professional photographer, how it looks with his car. And that paint is the paint code. We matched that with the calipers like we had. He matched it up. But basically what we're going to be doing with this, guys, is offering this as a, like Brandon said, a whole package where, you know, it's just going to be you bolt yours off, bolt ours on, done. We can do any GM color on that. And then we would offer anything you want, really, right? The package itself is going to initially be GM colors with black throttle bodies if you choose that option. If you don't want that option, you want, you know, lime green throttle bodies, you want something else, you know, you can talk with us. We will custom do whatever you want. Of course, it's going to be a little bit more for that. But looking at these pictures of it in Brandon's car, you guys can see, you know, this is something that we've needed for these cars for anything other than the black car with the red accents. And even Justin's, right? Justin has an edge red intake with torch red accents, and we're going to do, his is going to be a torch red with the black throttle bodies, and we're going to install it at Carlisle for him. And you guys can see us do that. So you can see it's not that bad. Now, we're doing a limited pre-order run right now of 20 units. And basically, there's going to be, with this, you can get whatever color you want. You get the black throttle bodies. If you order it, and I'm going to go over pricing here in a minute. If you order it in this first 20 run, kind of like, you know, Paragon did with the E-Venturi, you're going to get your throttle bodies, which is normally a $200 charge to have them painted black. You'll get those free. Okay. So the base price for the intake is going to be $2,800. That's painted. That's, you know, we'll take care of, you know, as far as getting everything set up, whatever color you want. And then normally you would be an extra $200 if you wanted the black throttle bodies, which again, looking at those pictures of Brandon's, I mean, it's money. I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but you'll get the throttle bodies for free. Also, the builder plaque, if anybody of you noticed, the builder plaque sits kind of up, and then there's another set of bolts that you can put the builder plaque to that are just underneath it, or bolt holes. On that, we will be offering for the first 20 a plaque that will also bolt onto that, that we can match. If you have, you know, whatever color you want, we can match it. If it's stock, if it's black, we can leave it black, but it'll be serialized number 001, 002, 003 that will come, that will be serialized for you guys on the first 20 that are sold. Kind of how we're going to have to do this for right now, since the website's about 90% done and it's not up yet, but it'll be up by Carlisle. We're offering this for subscribers to this channel, viewers of the live stream that see this, to be part of the first 20 on the pre-order of this. And you'll have to email us at dbmracing2019@gmail.com and tell us you're interested, and we'll go back and forth. We'll get your number, we'll call you, we'll figure it out, and whatever way is easiest to get it to you. Now, for these first 20 pre-orders, it's going to be $2,800 out the door. There's no sales tax. There's no anything. It's going to save you a good bit of money on tax. You're not going to pay for the throttle bodies, and we'll take care of the rest of it. Also, If you're going to do the swap yourself and you send us back your manifold, it'll be an $800 core charge that you'll get back. So you're going to get a $3,000 package with a bunch of extras, serialized. We're going to send you some shirts, some swag. We'll send you some frog t-shirts of Brandon's for basically $2,000 out the door if you're going to want to go ahead and do that. Again, you can't get these intakes, the Edge Red ones anyway from GM. They're like $3,000 anyway. So we're offering a better product with customizable options. I mean, the sky's the limit. You tell me what you want, we'll make it happen. We'll airbrush custom stuff on there. We'll do whatever you want. But
David,
we wanted to bring this.
One of the questions that I wanted to mention here real quick, I guess
Yeah,
Brandon
man.
already covered it. They wanted to know if it could be done with ported throttle bodies as well.
Yes, yes. Any throttle bodies. And again, this is the initial drop for everybody. We are going to be offering other things as well, performance wise, on these cars coming up very shortly. We can't go into it yet because of, kind of intellectual property stuff and who we're working with. But yes, if you want ported throttle bodies, you let us know. Or, if you have a set sitting at home that, like I have a set of solar that I haven't gotten around to installing yet. I don't know. But, yes, we can take care of that. We can do ported throttle bodies. So that way, when you install it, you've got your ported throttle bodies. You just bolt them on, bolt your intake on, and it's done. The sky is the limit with this. And especially with these first 20, it's infinitely customizable. So, you guys, email us, let us know if you're interested in this. And at least I said, we'll have the website should be live in a week or two. We want to make sure it's up before Carlisle, but for the standpoint of, the deal that you guys are getting here, you're not going to pay credit card fees. You're not going to pay tax. We'll take care of all that on the back end for this first 20, and you'll get serialized stuff. You'll get t-shirts, you'll get the things. And then, again, and seeing it in person, I can't even explain to you how good Brandon's intake looks with the calipers on that. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that have different color calipers, different color cars. I mean, it changes the whole look of his car. When you look at those professional photos that he had taken, it changes the entire look of the car. It's just so good how good that car looks with the intake in there now.
And if you're local to Atlanta area, I'm in Dalton, David's kind of Gainesville kind of area. There's, if you're kind of sketchy on wanting to do the swap and kind of concerned about the actual labor that's involved, like I said, it's not bad. We're gonna have videos. They're gonna show it. We're gonna do it at a car show. It's not bad at all. But if you don't feel like you want to take that on, then reach out to us. We may be able to help you out with that a little bit. I've got a shop at the Live. You don't even need to like jack the car up. Like it all can be done from the top. It's
Yeah.
like it's super mild as far as on the install. But
Yeah.
that being said, we'd be more than happy to help you. The dealerships are probably gonna kind of hit you hard on labor. I think David, what'd you get quoted? 6 hours from the dealership for a swap?
Yeah,
Labor.
6 hours is what they said, and it was over $1,000. It was, and I, like Brandon said, you don't need a lift. I mean, I did mine right here, like literally right there. So
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I promise. Like it's such. There's only 2 rear bolts that are actually even difficult to get to, and you just need a universal on them, and they come off pretty easy. And everything comes off with the bolts on it. You drop the other one on, and you hook everything up. You don't even have to take the intake off. That's what's even crazier about it. Like you disconnect the throttle bodies
Right.
from, and then you just pull it straight up, and it's off and on. It's an easy swap. It looks way harder than it is.
Right. But it completely changes the look of the car. And honestly, this is something I felt like I get it why GM wouldn't offer this because the amount of options and codes and everything, but something that I feel, and Brandon and we were talking about this, like, why is this not a thing as far as why can't you customize this for the rest of the accents on your car? And we kind of filled that niche for them.
All right, so guys, tonight only you can get this thing for about $2,000 if you send your core back to them. So like David was saying a little bit, I'm gonna have them install one for me at Carlisle that's torch red.
Yep.
You guys know my car, I already have the edge red intake, and I love that option over the black version, but it's odd whenever I have torch red accents everywhere else and then an edge red engine intake. I couldn't do what I wanted to do in the engine bay with other torch red accents because they don't match the edge red. But if I did edge red, then they wouldn't match the torch red of the calipers and the other accents outside the car. So I mentioned it to them whenever they told me about this. I said, what about torch red on mine? Like, and then we just kind of went from there. But ultimately, this is a really good option because from GM, it's around, I think it's $1,000, right? For the
What's
edge
that?
red. For the edge red intake.
Oh, when you buy it from the factory, it's somewhere around there, 995, or you know how they do the 995.
I think it's $1,000 plus you can't even get it. And even if you can only get edge red. So the only way that makes sense is if you have edge red calipers or maybe a red mist car. Otherwise, if you want to do something like this is the way to go, because like on Brandon's car, the picture that I was showing here, you can see that that is edge yellow. So that actually almost perfectly matches his edge yellow calipers, and he actually took a picture of it next to it. I don't know if you guys have that offhand, but showing right next to the caliper where it's the same color. So if you want to do edge yellow, if you want to do rapid blue, I mean, these are options that you can't get from factory. So, and I mean, I know these two guys, Brent, we've been talking about this now for months. They're crazy about the quality of this stuff. So you're not going to get, like, my edge red cover from GM. It's not actually painted very well. I don't know, for the guys out there that have the edge red ones, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like the edges of the actual intake underneath, it's still like black. The like almost like the paint didn't land in there very well. So these are things that are going to be fixed with these two, because they're going to spray this thing from all angles to make sure that it is totally covered.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the thing is that's been a kind of a process, because we've had to do like multiple kind of like perfect getting good coverage, just because of being a plastic manifold. It's difficult to get paint to really stick to it, and you actually have to have an adhesive promoter to kind of do that. But anyways, it will be more higher quality than you're getting from the factory. I can assure you that.
It will be higher quality. It's professionally done. It's cleared. No, I think somebody asked that in the comments. It will be clear coated as well, just like, you know, the paint on your outside of your car, or paint on your calipers or whatever. So it will be offered. You guys will love the quality. And like I said, it just changes everything. Like Brandon's car is a completely different car now when you look at it. Wow. It's awesome.
So Red C8 Z06 said that from another vendor, the same kind of thing is almost $3,500. So
and we purposefully priced for that, because we did see another vendor that was offering it. Again, I can tell you, I haven't seen any of theirs. I don't know what their quality's like, but you know, ours are being professionally done. And again, it's going to be cleared. It's going to be, and the black throttle bodies, you don't have to get them as an option, but guys, look at the pictures later of the live stream here, and look at the black throttle bodies on Brandon's car and these pictures that Justin was showing. Yeah. And when you look at the black throttle bodies, like I think there's a picture in the box.
In the box.
And then you look at your car and you're like, oh man, these like metal throttle bodies, they look like crap. So like, look at the difference on that.
Yep.
Like
that's the big difference between us and the competitors, is the throttle bodies are not being painted by competitors, and that's something that we are doing. Yep. I think it completes the look. Keeping them like that pot metal aluminum color is not attractive to me. I don't care what color you put on it, but that's.
And again, those first 20 we go through, you know, you see it here on the live stream. You're a subscriber of Justin's, maybe mine, maybe Brandon's. You're going to get a plate underneath where the builder plate is, that's going to be serialized for the first 20 that we sell. You'll also get t-shirts. You'll get swag. You're going to get free throttle bodies, guys. And like I said, this one, we're going to take care of the sales tax for you on the back end. You won't have to do it. So it'll just be, that's your out the door price. No credit card fees, no nothing like that.
Perfect. So how long do they have to do this then, David?
So I will leave this open as far as, you know, through this week. So if you're like, I'm really interested, but I need to see if I got, you know, $2,000 laying around or whatever, through the week, you know, this week, if you email me, you know, even if I catch you over the weekend, whatever, just email me. I will get in touch with you, you know, and we will work out your details of what you want, and then the best way for you to pay. When we have the website up, it'll be, you just order, it's credit card, you get, you know, it's just the normal thing. You pay sales tax, you pay fees, you just can't get around that. But this way we can do it any other way that is comfortable for you, to make sure that you get it, and then you won't pay sales tax, we'll pay it, and then you won't pay for your throttle bodies, it'll be free.
Perfect. So yeah, we have a couple comments in here where Chopper Larry was talking about the edge red intake tormented him for a while because of the bright red calipers. Some people painted their calipers. I know General Lee did as well, but the Crypto Punk says that he has rapid blue calipers. So yeah, I mean, the fact that you can change the color of calipers, you know, you can change the color of all this stuff, but no one's really offering what you guys are offering right now with painting the intakes, painting the throttle bodies as well, and really just making it look like it's finished. And I mean, like I said, I have the edge red one because I did not want a black one back there, but at the same time, torch red is what's going to match everything on my car, and it's going to look so much better with torch red there with a couple other little red accents. That's going to, you know, just make it that much more custom.
Well, and Chopper Larry brings up an issue. He said that it would not match the valve covers. I'm going to tell you, Brandon and I talked about that at length as well. When the intake manifold is on the car, you don't really see much of that.
Yeah, you
edge
really
red
don't.
valve. You can see it from a certain angle, whatever, but like when you just walk straight up to the car, Larry, I mean, you don't see it at all. But we talked about that as well. You know, we don't currently offer that now. That's going to be something we're going to look into. But again, that gets into your average everyday shade tree mechanic may not want to pull that off to do the intake and the valve covers. But that's something in the future. We've got other performance items actually coming, like stuff to give you horsepower, guys. That's coming. But this is the first where we start, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's yeah, and yes, what is it? Starched up intakes and throttle bodies, $2,800 plus the core swap. You'll be $2,000 out the door.
I was gonna say it's actually minus the core swap is what I
That's
think
right.
people are kind of confused on. So
Yes.
$2,800 if you send them your core, they take $800 off, so you'd get 2,000 would be the total.
And we can refund you the 800 back, so you don't have to. We're not going to say, hey, send us your core first, whatever. No, we'll actually send you the intake. If you choose to send us your core, we'll send you the 800 back, or we'll refund it however you want. That way, you know, you have one, and you just take one off, put the other one on, done, package it up, send it back, and we'll give you 800 back.
All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I got to go to work, so I'm gonna be bouncing off.
Have a good night, Brandon.
See you,
Been fun.
Brandon.
I'll see y'all. Thanks, Justin, for having me on. I'll see you.
No problem. We'll see you. All right, so let me see if I can swap this over real quick where it's just me and you. But yeah, guys, again, if you're interested in this, you can send Venmo payment up, Brandon or Dave, if you want to tell them how to do that.
Yep. Well, and again, you know, I do have Venmo, but whatever you want, we'll talk about it. Please just send me an email so that way I can have the first. I don't want 50 Venmo payments. Uh, we're only doing 20. I would love 50 Venmo payments, but we're just doing the first 20 right now for pre-orders, and everything's gonna. This is our soft launch for you guys because you guys are always here week in, week out. Brandon and I thought it would be a great idea. We talked to Justin and said, hey, let's do it on a live stream. Let's offer your supporters, our supporters, something for being here every week if they really want to be in on this. And I know a lot of you guys are the guys like Brandon and I are where, like Justin said, it just makes it that finished look. It's just not as finished with either the black intake with the bare metal, and it's not even like great bare metal. Like it's that cast, like you can see the casting on it. It's not the greatest, but that's what we went for, and it's turned out amazing so far. But just start with the email tonight or this week, dbmracing 2019 at gmail.com, and we'll get in touch and we'll get this moving for you guys. And I hope you guys are excited about it as we are, because when we saw it in the box was one thing, but when we put it on Brandon's car was a whole nother story. Like it changed the entire look of the car.
Yeah.
It really did.
So Dan McManus actually says, thanks. I think it should be offered in all colors that GM has. Obviously,
Yep.
Brandon and David thought the same thing. That's exactly why why they're doing it, because the idea here is that you can match any exterior color. You can really do any color you want, but worst case scenario, you do any exterior color on your car, any caliper color, any color you want. I mean, if you want neon pink back there, they can do it. And that's the thing, is these will make these cars so much more custom.
Right. And again, I mean, the GM codes, the paint codes are easy. They're going to be the GM paint codes. It's the touch-up paint. They're going to match. But if you want pink, that's what I'm saying. Email me right now. When you decide if you want a pink one, I got you. Like we can do a pink one. We can do whatever you want, as far as that goes. But initially we're going to be doing the colors for the GM touch-up codes, and then on the website there will be an option for custom order. And this will go live at Carlisle that week. The website's going to be live too, but it's going to be full price, credit card fees, sales tax, all that stuff. And we'll kind of be normal operations at this point. But these first 20, you guys are going to get a heck of a deal. You're going to get the serialized plaque. You're going to get some swag, and it's going to be, you're basically talking a third off, basically, is what you're talking about. So 33% off on this.
David, type your email in the chat there. It looks like Starched Up is probably going to want to do this. He doesn't have the car yet, but he wants to have a bunch of parts ready to go. Jose, I saw your email, and I'm going to show this here in a second. So Jose, was that painted torch red? It looks like it was torch red. His was done, obviously, torch red here. This is his car getting torn apart, it looks like. Or is this before any paint even went down? Did you already have torch red? I'm curious. But I'm also kind of curious what they're charging, because odds are good it's more than what David and Brandon here are charging. But yeah, so very cool stuff here, guys. This is the way you customize a car in a way that no one else has done yet, because as far as I know, there's only one other vendor offering something like this.
Right.
And number
Well,
one,
and
we
even
don't
on
we
that
don't know the
picture,
quality.
Justin, and even on that picture that you just showed, if you look at it and you look at the center throttle bodies, those aren't painted. And
Yeah.
look at the difference. The
Yeah.
difference is night and day between not having the throttle. Now we can do it just the plenums and send you it back like that. But for $200, I don't know why you wouldn't do the painted throttle bodies and go from there. I mean, like, look at the difference between that and the brand. I mean, that's night and day. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Now this obviously is something that you could paint any color you want. So again, at Carlisle, they're going to have a couple different cars there showing their different colors. Mine will obviously be torch red, and what I have now is edge red. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with mine, but they may put it on display. I think that might be a good idea, actually. Put it on display, show the difference between an edge red and now here's a torch red one. Like,
Yeah.
so you can
Initially,
clearly see.
Yep. Initially, that's what we're going to do as far as that goes, is just use it as a display. We have 3 manifolds that will be on the table at Carlisle. We'll have a rapid blue one so you can see it. We'll have a Sebring orange one, which is done, which looks absolutely insane. The Sebring orange manifold looks so good. And then the other one is it's the new yellow, not the competition yellow. It's the new yellow.
Competition is the new yellow. Do you mean
Oh, then that
accelerate?
would be it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Competition. So those will be the 3 that'll be at the table that you can just walk up and see, have your hands on. And then we'll have Justin's as a comparison of, hey, here's the GM product, here's what we're offering. And of course, ours will have the painted throttle bodies. His won't. You can see the difference on that as well.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, it's an awesome option. If you want to get in on it, I think David put his email in there if you're able to see it. For some reason, it didn't go through right away. I had to approve it. I don't know why. But
Yeah, I was saying,
do you see it
I
in
saw
there?
it pop in. I saw it pop in.
Yeah, so send
Yeah.
him an email, or if you can't get him, you can send me an email and I'll forward it along to him. Of course, you guys know my email
Yes.
address is right there on the screen. I'll forward it along to him if you want to do that. But he's going to offer this, you said, for a week?
For a week, but if we can if it takes us a week and a half or 2 to get to the first 20, the deal will stand.
Oh, okay.
But
So for the first 20. Okay.
yeah, for the first 20, but we're kind of hoping to get it rolling within a week or so. But yeah, the first 20 is where we're at, guys, on this. Once that is done, it's done. We'll never do it again, and it'll be just, full price through the website. There you go.
Okay. All right, guys. So there you have it. We're going to move on to one more, actually, maybe 2 or 3 more quick pieces of information here. The E-Ray recently was up for Performance Vehicle of the Year, and MotorTrend decided to pass on it. Now, this is kind of an interesting happening here because the E-Ray is kind of like the hot thing right now, but MotorTrend ultimately came to the conclusion that the car was overpriced, which is kind of where I'm at with it. I think the E-Ray is an awesome car. I think it fits nicely in the lineup. It's just, I think it's a little bit too much. And ultimately, the title of this particular thread from MotorTrend was 2024 Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray Performance Vehicle of the Year Review. Ultimately, could have had a Z06. That's kind of what it comes down to. The price, in my opinion, and apparently MotorTrend's opinion, is a little too high. If the price was lower, this car would fit better in the lineup. But ultimately, with the price being what it was, even the MotorTrend guys drove the car. They liked it, but felt a little odd about the pricing, basically. The big thing that came up a couple different times, if we scroll down through here, you can see their pros and cons. Pros were several Corvette firsts, Z06 level performance, additional traction, but the cons are track benefits are minimal, hybrid modes are obtuse, and it's something of a compromise. So scrolling down through here again, I actually watched the video, but a lot of the text here kind of talks about what it really is. And if you read the thread here that says, somewhat disappointing that the first hybrid Corvette and the first Vette of any kind with powered front wheels doesn't really feel that way. And that's the big thing. Like, you can feel the power coming from the front wheels, but it's just, there's something almost like something's missing. And it's not giant, because like I said, if you're coming from a Stingray and you're going to an E-Ray instead, it's going to feel like an absolute fantastic car that you're moving into. But if you go from the Stingray to a Z06 and then to an E-Ray, you're going to feel a little bit, you're going to have some second thoughts, especially because of the price. If the price was lower, in my opinion, I feel like this car would fit better.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just, whenever I saw this from MotorTrend 2, I started to realize that this is the way I feel. I think this is pretty much the way that David feels as well. And it's the way that a lot of people that have driven both cars feel. Now, the only people that I've noticed that don't feel this way are the people that have not driven a Z06. Or if they have, they haven't spent much time with it. Because at the end of the day, the pricing is just, I mean, what did we say before we got on here, David? You're something like $7,000 difference, and you could get,
Yeah, it was like $7,800, and that was Motor Trend's point at the very end of the article was like for $7,800 you could get the Z06. I will say though, like, and I'm gonna do this since Brandon had to go to work. I'm gonna play Brandon here for a second. Let me put some product in my hair.
yeah, there you
But
go.
no, but as far as a GT car,
Oh
or like
yeah,
a
yeah,
Grand Touring car,
yeah.
that
And
E-Ray is a win.
and see,
But
this is the
at
thing though,
that
is
price,
yeah,
that's
that's
right.
the
At
thing.
that price,
Yeah.
they're so close to the Z06 at that price that
Yep.
the pricing doesn't make sense to me. If it's 10 grand less and it's 95,000, as they said, 10 grand,
Yep.
it's absolutely, they couldn't make enough if it was 95 grand. They wouldn't even be able to make enough of them. They would never make enough.
Originally, whenever the car was first coming out, I speculated it was going to start around 89. And if it had,
Right.
it's a different
Oh,
story.
it was,
And that's the thing, is like,
yeah,
everybody always wants to jump on me and they're like, "Oh, you're just an E-Ray hater, this, that." I'm not. I think it's a great car. I really do. I think it
yeah,
fits in the lineup perfectly. I think
yeah,
it's
me too.
overpriced. And when we had the live video not too long ago with Street Speed on here and everything, we were talking pretty heavily about it. And Street Speed Mike seems to think that it's going to be a year or two before you start to see the E-Ray actually getting discounted from GM for the same reason. They're going to
Right.
discount this at a lower starting price to push more of these out the door. And at a lower starting point, it will work. The price is the problem, in my opinion. But
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic car. Like, I mean, it's like I said, as a Grand Tour, like an everyday driver, that car is insanely good. It's just as quick as the Z06. Like top speed and those things, maybe not, but it's just
yeah,
as quick.
yeah.
And it is amazing what they managed to do. It's just the price is where I have now. Brandon thinks it's worth it all day long because the carbon ceramic brakes and things. But
Well, see, and that's the thing, is, as far as that's concerned, and I've heard that argument a lot too, where they're like, "Well, the carbon ceramic brakes are standard." Yeah, I understand that.
right,
I don't care if they're standard or not. It's $10,000 too high. So
right,
lower the
I
price by
agree.
10 grand, and I guarantee you the separation between the performance variants now is a bigger point, and people are going to buy the E-Ray because of that. So
Yeah, I agree.
I've heard this too before. Like Red C8 Z06 says to get the E-Ray for the snow. I bet I would put money on the fact, if this car, I know they haven't even made 1,000 of them yet, but let's say they did 1,000 of these cars, 10%, less than 10% of those cars are ever going to see the snow. No one is going to take that car and put it in the snow. Just because it can doesn't mean you're going to want to drive that car in the snow. My Z06 can technically go in the snow. If I wanted to throw some snow tires on, then I could drive it in the snow. I don't want to do that. And it's not just the snow, it's the salt, it's the
It's the
rocks.
salt and the grime.
All
Yeah.
you're going to still deal with all this stuff with an E-Ray as well. I can put snow tires on a Z06 and get just as good, well, pretty much just as good as traction, minus the all-wheel drive setup. And that doesn't change the fact that I don't want to drive that car in the winter, though. So that's the problem, is that
Yes.
the E-Ray is still a Corvette. No one's going to really drive it in the snow or in the winter. And so that's not, to me, that's not a huge selling point. But yeah, anyway, this was a long way of saying that MotorTrend kind of said the same thing that I've been saying, that they feel like it's a little overpriced and you could have had a Corvette Z06 for the same price. But I I hate, whenever I have to report this stuff, I know I'm going to get a comment or two or an email about how I'm just a hater of the E-Rays. I'm not. I really enjoy the E-Ray. In fact, I was trying to get an E-Ray in my booth at Carlisle. I like the E-Ray. I like what it represents. I just think it's
Right.
overpriced. I mean, I'll be
Right.
honest with you. I think the Z06 is overpriced too. So it doesn't really matter what my thoughts are on this. The Z06 is overpriced. everything's overpriced nowadays. But the E-Ray, in the comparison between the two, is where the problem's at. So even if they brought the Z06 down to 90 grand, the E-Ray's got to be brought down to 70. There's got to be a giant price difference between the two for someone to choose the E-Ray over the Z06, when even on paper the Z06 is the better car. So that's it. But anyway, let's talk about one other piece of information here. This one was actually kind of funny. I don't know if you saw this yet, David, but the C4 Corvette actually beats a Cybertruck on a racetrack.
I saw that.
So I don't want to play the video here, but ultimately you can see there a C4 literally is faster than a Cybertruck. And I mean, if you guys remember when the Cybertruck first came out, they were touting now it pulled a GT3 or something across a drag strip faster than a GT3 could go by itself across the drag strip. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we got an old Corvette literally beating this thing on a track. This is the definition of Tesla versus track built car. Like this is it for me right here.
Right.
So,
well, you know, in the Cybertruck, like you've been in them, like I finally got to experience one, and it is just a weird driving experience, right? Like the amount of what you would have to get used to on a daily basis, like the steering lock. This is full lock,
yeah,
right? Like it's just weird, man.
Well, you know, another thing is I sent a video over to Jason, front seat driver and stuff on Instagram. There was a video of a guy holding the yoke or whatever, and he was going like this real quick, and the wheels were like a full 2 seconds behind. So he went like this, and then the wheels turned, and it's like,
oh wow,
man, that doesn't seem good to me. Like there's that much of a delay there, and of course it's all electronically driven, but it's like that seems dangerous. So,
well, the best one I've seen so far was wrapped, and it was wrapped like a trophy truck, like a Baja truck.
yeah.
And that was the best one I've seen so far. Because
See,
you know, with the wheels on it and stuff, it actually looked like a trophy truck.
I saw one not too long ago. It was wrapped black, and it looked like it was lowered with black wheels and then like meaty truck tires, and I thought it looked good. But it's like, now you've wrapped the truck, so you've completely taken away the stainless steel, which makes it unique. So that's gone. You lowered it, so now it's not really a truck anymore. It's kind of useless as a truck. You put these big wheels on it, which are definitely going to affect the range of the battery. So you're basically cutting everything in half that's supposed to make this truck special just to make it look good.
Exactly.
Like, it's too much for me. But
and it's just a weird experience. It really is.
It is, yeah. And like I said, that steering thing, because full lock is just basically a not even a full turn of the wheel, but also the wheels are like also delayed a little bit. I don't know. It's not good. Another thing I don't know if you heard about, David, is that Japan is set to get an interesting color for the C8 Corvette called Red Flame. Now,
I did see them actually.
Yeah, I was reading through this, and the pictures that they show really looks a lot like Red Mist or maybe even Long Beach Red. But I don't know if they're just changing the name or if it is actually a totally different color.
I don't know, because you know, they've done some weird stuff with paint before. Like if you buy a Z06 in Japan, you're only getting a black one. There are no other color options you can get in Japan other than a black one. So I don't know, but like when I looked at the interior specifically, I looked at this post. When you look at it, it's not the adrenaline red. It's not really the edge red. You know, so maybe it actually is something other than red mist. It's kind of hard to tell in those pictures, but yeah, I mean, more colors is better. I don't care where they're going.
Well, that's absolutely true, and I mean that's just like what you guys are doing with the engine intakes and stuff. It's like, give me the option, even if no one selects it. I'd love to have the option, because if you give the general public the option of some crazy, ridiculous, off the wall option, I bet you $100 at least one person checks it. It's just the way it goes. There's always someone out there.
Yeah, exactly. And Brandon and I were talking about this specific thing. We were like, well, maybe this color is a ZR1 color, and they're going to do it in Japan, and maybe we'll actually be able to get this new red in the ZR1.
And that's possible, not even just for the ZR1, but the fact that we lost all those colors recently, maybe this is their way of testing it out to see before they bring it to us. But then we're in that same position again where we have a bunch of reds now instead of a bunch of grays, you know, because then we'll have torch red, red mist, and now this red flame or flame red, whatever. It's like, and they all look kind of similar. I'd rather just go with something totally different.
Well, and I'm glad they're bringing back Sebring. You know that that's my favorite color. Like, I'm glad they're bringing that back. But I love the hysteria that, you know, whether you like the color or not, I like where GM's going with this, right? Like the fact that they're like, okay, we can do a purple, right? Like, for GM to say we'll do a purple on the Corvette, that's a great step in the right direction. That gets us into like your lizard greens or your Porsche greens or your, you know, that gets us into these other things by putting it out there. I hope people like it. I think, you know, I think a hysteria ZR1 with some carbon fiber, whew, I think that would look amazing. But it's at least a step in the right direction.
Bill Miller said that red flame looks like red mist without the mist. I like it, but yeah, it does kind of. It looks like red mist, possibly, maybe without the metallic flake. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, or it's
well, and then
like
you'll never see flake in a picture like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures never show flake, but Red C8 Z06 said that red flame may just have less metallic than red mist. Because I know red mist is kind of a difficult color to produce or especially match because there's a tint coat to it. So maybe the red flame is just without a tint coat. Maybe it's a cheaper paint. I don't know.
Right. Well, and honestly, that goes back to what we're doing, like with the, you know, edge yellow and some of these other red. Like, we're offering those with the tint coat. That's, you know, that's an more expensive one, but we're not charging extra for any of those because it's a process, right? You have the base layer, and then you have the tint coat, and then you have the clear. So it's an extra step. So yeah, I mean, those are harder to match for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, guys, I think that's going to kind of wrap things up here. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up button yet, please do.
Yeah,
it helps the channel a lot, and it's going to... Huh? No. Yeah, anyway, if you haven't smashed the thumbs up button yet, please do before you exit. But that is going to wrap up this particular Corvette Weekly. I obviously want to thank David and Brandon both for showing up tonight. Brandon had to go save some lives. David had a couple extra minutes. But if you guys want to check out their custom painted intakes, get them now while you can. Save $1,000 almost. And you can see it in person at Carlisle. One of them is going to be on my car. They're going to have a bunch of examples at their booth as well, which will be right behind my booth at Carlisle.
Right.
So come
we'll
out.
be right there.
Come out, say hi, take a look at their stuff, and get on the list now. Save yourself some money. But otherwise, guys, like I said, smash the thumbs up on the way out, and we'll see you guys the same time, same place next Monday night. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.